All right, let's make us some sticky buns. Let's get to it. Okay, so we're working with yeast again. A little different from baking soda, baking powder. If you don't have yeast at home, you can keep practicing with your quick breads, but today, let's get to it with some yeast dough again and make some delicious sticky buns. It's gonna taste and smell some good up in here. Okay, in our bowl we have yeast and sugar, warm milk, not hot, warm, or we'll kill the yeast. We've got our melted butter or vegetable oil, and we've got our egg and egg yolk. So that's kind of like a starter. Your yeast is going to start to dissolve with that warm milk, and it's going to dissolve the sugar as well, and you're going to start to see some bubbles. After a little while, you're going to add in your dry ingredients and start mixing that guy up. Okay, so here is your yeast, sugar. I used a light olive oil instead of butter this morning because I don't have any. But your butter gets melted, so you can easily replace with any liquid fat, right guys? So if it calls for melted butter, you can use any liquid fat, okay? Coconut oil melted, olive oil. Some olive oils will have a really strong olive oil taste, so be careful of that. We got our sugar, yeast, milk. I used an almond milk because I don't drink dairy, so you guys can use any kind of liquid milk replacement. Okay, so I'm ready to add my flour in, and it calls for bread flour. Remember, bread flour is so just because it contains more gluten, so technically will hold more gas that the yeast creates from eating that sugar and form a crustier crust, and it'll just hold gas a bit better. It's okay if you don't have bread flour. I'm not using bread flour today. I'm just using all-purpose. You're still gonna get a really nice rise, nice fluffy dough, yeast dough, okay? So I'll flip my camera around, show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with the first 2 cups of flour, mix that in, and then go in with my 3rd cup of flour, just so that it's a bit smoother incorporation. Okay, so I've got 2 cups of flour in there. I'm gonna mix in all of my wet ingredients. It's gonna be pretty soft dough. But then I'm gonna add in my 3rd cup of flour and start kneading it on the counter. Now going to knead our dough 8 to 10 minutes. Going to give us a nice stretchy elasticity in our dough. Keep some flour handy, okay, so that our dough can get nice and full of air and not all dense and heavy, okay? So don't skip on the kneading, don't skimp on the kneading, okay? 8 to 10 minutes, or pop it in that KitchenAid mixer if you have one, okay? Pulling it apart, folding it over itself. That's what we gotta do, okay? Pulling it apart, folding it over itself. Rotate, go. Let's see how well we can knead, okay? If it starts to stick to your hands, got a little goop there, okay? Little Cookie Monster hands, get some flour on there. Okay, pull it, stretch it. Okay, Jane Fonda exercise video. This is a fairly soft dough, so definitely want some flour on hand. 8 to 10 minutes. See you in a minute. Okay, we're coming in at 5 minutes kneading. Okay, pull it apart, stretch it over, fold it over, pull it, fold it. Still a little sticky, that's okay. This is a sticky dough, or a soft dough. Pull it, fold it, pull it, fold it, pull it, fold it. Okay, we've got pretty smooth dough on top. It's got good elasticity, gluten's developed. I'm gonna stop here now, and I'm gonna let my dough have its first rise. I'm gonna keep my flour though because I am gonna be rolling this dough out to make the cinnamon rolls themselves, or the sticky buns, minus the sticky part. Okay, so keep your flour out. Keep your flour or your counter floured if you need to. We're gonna put this into a greased bowl and let it rise or have its first proofing. Okay, greased bowl, greased dough. I'm gonna put some plastic wrap or a nice cloth over here and put it in my warm oven, or put it in the sun. Warm oven though, not above 170 though, or Fahrenheit, or it'll kill your yeast cell. We're just letting it rise. Here is our sticky bun dough. Look at that, beautiful dough, full of air, and we are gonna deflate it. That's the fun part. Looks a little dry, we gotta get some oil on there. Anyways, we're gonna roll this out, fill it full of its filling, we'll roll it up and cut it. Okay, so we've rolled our dough out to a 14 by 9 inch rectangle. We're gonna wipe down some butter onto the dough, put down our cinnamon sugar. If you only have white sugar, that's fine, or maple syrup. You can drizzle that with some cinnamon, do what you like. We're gonna roll it up. So our dough is ready. Let's flip you around. So well greased dough with our butter. We're gonna put our cinnamon sugar on and roll it up. All right, I'm going to mark out where I'm gonna cut, and I'm gonna use a serrated knife to saw the cinnamon rolls rather than cut them and squish them down. So I'm gonna mark out 9 cinnamon rolls and put them into here. Are our cinnamon rolls all rolled up. Now we're gonna put these back into a warm oven to let them rise a second time. All right guys, this is what your sticky buns might look like. They're gonna be squishing out of the pan. Really filled up the pan and doubled in size. Now we've got to preheat the oven and bake these guys. All right, here you have it, your sticky buns. Get a close-up of those. Definitely have some good color. Could have taken them out a little earlier. You can smother those with icing if you want. I'll put a recipe below. I like them without icing. Not too sweet. Right, again, cinnamon buns. Sticky buns if you made a caramel sauce for underneath them. But yeah, these are more of a cinnamon bun. Delicious, delicious. Enjoy.